welcome to the very first American Hostile Hour. My guest is none other than the famous Mr. Justin Case. How are you, Mr. Justin Case?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, good. Glad to have you here on our podcast. You know, me and you sometimes we don't see eye to eye. We definitely butt a lot of heads, but I respect what you got knowledge wise in that big fat head of yours for the business of wrestling. So tell all the people how you got started in professional wrestling, Justin.
Oh my God. Well, it all started. Um, I met this guy named Tim Brown. He works Nashville area, like Centerville and Shelbyville and Kentucky, as the Boston Strangler.
Boston
He was
Strangler.
he did. His name was Tim Brown. He was a good guy, but he wasn't that. I see. I don't want to say he wasn't that good, but he wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but um, then I met Tony Falk, and then Tony said, "Hey, why don't you go over to Jeff Jarrett's wrestling school at the fairgrounds on Sunday?" So I went like two times, and it was like $50 a time. You know, every week you pay $50, and there was like 30 people there. Crow the Death Stalker. Some of them came out of there that lived in the Nashville area. But back then, I lived with my grandmother, so $50 a week, and really when I got there, it was a lot of people, and it was just Jeff Jarrett running it. Sometimes Billy Travis would show up and others, but I went about twice and I stopped going. And Tony said, "Well, Jeff wants to know why you stopped coming," and I told him, and he said, "Okay, I understand." So then about 2 or 3 weeks later, Tim Brown called me and he said, "Hey, you want to go manage me in Central City, Kentucky?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "Sure." So Tony was on the card, and it just started from there. You know, it went Central City, Beaver Dam, Kentucky. That was a Friday Saturday show, and Shelbyville, Tennessee ran on Thursday. So that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was going to these shows with Tim and Tony, because Tony would work some of those shows. If you wasn't booked with USWA, he would work some of those shows.
So how old were you, Justin, at the time?
Uh, I'm gonna say about 17.
17. So at
Yeah.
17 years old, you met Jeff Jarrett. What was your, were you like starstruck or anything?
At first, I was, because you see them there every Saturday night at the fairgrounds. And you think, "Oh my God, these guys are TV stars," you
That's
know.
right.
So the first few times I went, like the first time I went, I was like, "Man, I'm here with Jeff Jarrett," you know. And I think Frank Morrell might have been there the first time, and I'm like, "Goodness gracious, what's going on here?" You know. And all the other guys have been there like 8 or 10 weeks, and it's my first week.
So did
And I
you,
was a little bit.
a little bit starstruck?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Did you teach Frank Morrell how to count to three? Because he did learn how, finally.
He was he was slow, wasn't
Yeah. The
he? I
slowest
mean,
county
one,
I've ever seen
two,
belongs.
fell apart.
Yeah, yeah. Most definitely.
But I will. Later on, I was riding with I rode to some towns with him and Jeff, because he drove Jeff around. But that guy knew a lot about wrestling, and he was funny. I mean, he was funny.
Yeah.
One story, we stopped. I don't know if you ever heard of. I think his name is Spaceman something. Uh, he was an old timer, and he lived in Kentucky. And we stopped by his house, and they was going to try to get him to come to TV. And actually, he came to TV the next week. Brian Christopher brought him out to to face Eddie Marlin, I believe, or somebody like that. You can go back
Eddie
and watch it.
Martin.
Yeah, I can't remember. His name was Space Mountain something.
Gotcha, man. That goes
Snakes
back
Man. So,
way time. So
way back. Just
your
got
very first show is in Central City, Kentucky. How many people were at that very first show?
Oh man, Central City drew pretty good. Well, maybe my first show was in Beaver Dam, and my second show was in Central City, which is I just had them backwards there. Beaver Dam, they drew 70, 80 people. My first show there, Jamie Dundee and Whoopi D was there. They wasn't a tag team yet, but they was both booked on that show.
Oh. And what promoter was that for? Do you remember?
Shelby Adcock.
Now, how was he as
Shelby
a
Adcock.
promoter?
Shelby was he worked in the coal mines during the week, so if that gives you anything, he was a tough dude.
Yeah, I bet
He
so,
was a
man.
tough guy. He
That ain't
was
no joke of a job there,
no
man, for sure.
none. That was his shoot job during the week was coal mines, and he loved wrestling.
So how did you
Where
get? Where do you get your love for wrestling from?
oh my God, it has to be from my grandmother's sister. Her name was Mary, and she loved wrestling. So I was from the time I can remember, I was watching it at our house. When it came on, you better not say a word.
Now,
I
where
say
was
nothing.
it? Where did you live growing up?
I lived in Nashville.
So you got the Nashville feed from the Memphis shows.
I did, yeah. Every Saturday morning at I think it was 11 o'clock. So, but we was a
Okay,
week behind. We was a week
that's
behind.
that's
So
correct.
whatever, they was already filming another show here, and we was getting what y'all saw last week. But
Gotcha.
30 minutes less. 30 minutes less. We only got an
So,
hour.
oh, okay, yeah, we got an hour and a half, and we got the live
Right.
show here in Missouri. Of course,
Yep.
we're actually in Channel Five viewing area. Uh,
Yep.
I can go in here and watch Channel Five out of Memphis right now if I wanted to. But Memphis wrestling, I know you and I talk a lot behind the scenes, and to me, Memphis wrestling was where it was back in the day. How do you
Oh,
feel? How do you
spot
feel
on.
about Memphis wrestling?
It's the best wrestling ever. I mean, there's no other. I I compare it. There's some people compare it. Hey, I watched this Mid South wrestling. I didn't get that. I didn't get to watch Mid South. All I got was Memphis, and there was another show that came on later on when I got older. WCCW came on before Jarrett bought it, But
So you
I
got
saw
you
some
got
of
the
that.
world class that the Von Erichs owned.
Yeah, it was later on, and it come on like 2 in the morning.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I feel privileged in my area because we got a lot of wrestling, man. We got, of course, the Superstation came along, so we got Georgia wrestling. We had the Memphis wrestling. We did get world class wrestling, so I got to see the Freebirds and the Von Erichs, the whole feud there, man. But once again, Memphis wrestling's where it was every Monday night. My granddaddy would drive me to the Mid South Coliseum in a very historical building. I'll tell you what, man, if you
Yep.
Mid South Coliseum's where it was on Monday nights.
Oh, no doubt. In Nashville, that's the way I felt about the fairgrounds. In Nashville, it would be in Nashville on Saturday night. So before I started driving, my grandmother was an older lady, so she didn't really drive at night. So as soon as it went off, I started trying to find a ride to the fairgrounds every night, and somehow I got it. I owe a lot to my friend Jeff Archie. If Jeff sees this, that guy right there took me to the fairgrounds almost every week, and he loves wrestling too. He does. He knows everything about Memphis wrestling, and
Did he
I
treat?
owe him a lot for.
Did he teach you all your dirty tricks? Where did you learn all your dirty tricks?
No, he those came from I don't know. I just watched a
Did you
lot of
carry a chain back then?
no.
Did you
Probably
carry a chain to the fairgrounds?
I was swirling it, sitting up on the bleachers.
Have you had the privilege of doing a show at the fairgrounds?
I did.
How
I
did
did
that feel? How did that feel?
one show I did there. that's when I would known Tony Falk for a long time, and they did this hair versus title match, and Tony had lost his hair, so they needed somebody to come back and put their hair on the line, and it was his family members. And Memphis was a homeless guy. We got a homeless guy from Nashville, Tennessee, and this is 100% shoot. We drove him to Memphis. He was on TV. We took him back to Nashville, picked him up Monday, and came back to Memphis. And he sat in the middle of the Mid-South Coliseum and got his head shaved, and they paid him $200.
Wow. I bet he was in heaven, wasn't he?
Hey, he didn't want us to take him back.
You're right.
So we was like, no, because the homeless shelter knew it was with us.
Gotcha. You remember that guy's name?
Donald Davis. That's the
Donald.
name. It was Donald. He was
Davis.
He was probably. I'm sure he's passed on now because he was an older guy then.
So how did you pick him? I mean, you just rode by and happened to see him at the curve or what?
Tony Falk said he looks like my dad.
Was there any alcohol involved in this thing?
I don't think so. We go back to pick him up on Monday to leave, right? We told him to be there at 3 o'clock. We got to pick him up. He's not there.
Oh, shit.
Like, oh, my God. So about 3:15, here he comes with like 4 bags of cans he's been picking up.
Oh, wow.
He said, you got to help me hide these or we got to put them in the trunk of your car.
Did y'all throw them in the trunk?
We put them in the trunk.
There you go. He didn't need those cans when he got back with that $200, though, did he? Did he take the cans?
Yeah, he got them back out when we got there.
So he had $200 and cans. Well, y'all made his day. I'll tell you right now.
We did. And the funny thing is, we went and picked up Tim Brown was going to be part of the angle of there. He was going to be one of Tony's brothers also. So we went over to his hotel to pick him up. The guy went in and started using his deodorant.
Did Tim just give it to him? Say fuck it.
Yeah,
you need it worse than I do, buddy. You need it worse than I do.
It was great. It was great. It was some good stuff.
That's definitely a good story.
Yeah. It's got to be. There's some video of it somewhere, but I can't remember the date. I can't. I'm gonna ask Tony when I talk to him, and I'm gonna ask him what the date was. I do know it was a holiday because there was some free food right there. They had like a buffet, and the guy was eating, and Lawler came up to him and said, "Hey, did you pay for that?"
Oh, Lawler, he likes to rib, don't he?
Oh yeah, he's like, how come your last name's Davis and his last name's Falk? he said, you gotta ask him that.
Did the homeless man even know who Jerry Lawler was?
He did not know who Jerry Lawler. He didn't know none of them.
He didn't know nothing about wrestling, did he?
Tony didn't smarten him up either. He said, if I lose the match, you get paid to get your head shaved. Now it's a process. It's a pretty good possibility.
Oh my God! So did y'all sit him in the back of the Coliseum or the fairgrounds?
What?
Where was? Yeah, he sat in the back all night.
Yeah, he sat in the back. Well, he went up front. He went upstairs in the thing, but that
Gotcha.
was in Memphis. We didn't use him in Nashville because somebody else got there. Tim got his head shaved in Nashville. I was the only one that told him I wouldn't shave my head. I didn't. I went to all 4 towns and didn't shave my head. Had somebody different every town.
So you went when you say all 4 towns: Memphis, Louisville, Evansville, and Nashville.
And Nashville, yep. Nashville.
So how was the Louisville Gardens?
Oh, it was great. That building was probably the nicest building out of all of them. You know, the way it was set up. Now the ring was at one end of the building, and there was a lot of seats that didn't get used at that time. But and I've seen that place with Smoky Mountain Wrestling and USWA. That place was packed. Wolfie and the Rock and Roll Express and Tracy Smothers.
That was a good
Oh,
feud, man.
it
USWA versus
was
Smoky Mountain. Yeah.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That was great.
What? I think it only held what 7,500 people, maybe at the most. Or is that
I'm
Evansville?
sure, yeah, somewhere. Evansville was smaller than Louisville. Now,
Okay,
Evansville had the look of a small Mid South Coliseum.
gotcha.
Evansville was a nice building,
I
but it
actually
just
called
wouldn't
the
draw.
Evansville Coliseum.
It just wouldn't draw. I
Hmm.
don't know why.
It
Wednesday
was
night may have something
maybe
to do with it.
because of Wednesday night. I don't know, but they ran that. They
Maybe
ran it for years, man.
years. And
Years.
yeah, I don't know how many years they ran that thing, but that was a nice building, really nice.
All right, so how did you get involved on the independent circuit, man? Once you got, you just kind of, I guess, went your own way without Tony, or what?
Yeah, well, Tony, I never. I guess we Tony wasn't getting used much in USWA. They would use him maybe twice a week, maybe. So then we started going to Athens, Alabama, on Saturday nights, and still it was Tony. Athens was really good. That might be the scariest I've ever been. I thought we was gonna die in Athens, Alabama. I did. There was those people had hawkbill knives. You know what that is with the hook, the hook on it. They pulled them on us. We we put the owner's daughter was the ring announcer or whatever, and we beat her up. Oh my goodness! Here they come. They surrounded Justin's car and would not let us leave. We had to call the cops. Get out of there.
That's major heat.
But then it's heat. It's heat. But it was a
Nobody knows
small
what heat
building.
is nowadays.
That was heat. I was literally scared. I was like,
And how old were you then? 17, 18 then?
I was probably about 19 then. That was
I
a
see.
few years in. Yeah, but I was
Did you?
literally like, never going back here. But we went back next year.
You probably think, what the hell am I getting myself into?
I did. I was still young. I was like, man, I've never seen nothing like this. And but then I don't guess I ever went. I stayed there in Nashville. Tony would run. Tony, his brother, and Dennis Mason would run Paducah, Kentucky, every 2 weeks on a Sunday.
That's right.
I drove that from Nashville every 2 weeks for about a year.
So
Then I
that's
moved
straight
to
down
Memphis.
24, right?
Yeah, up 24. Yeah. So I moved to Memphis and I drove it again for probably another year. You know how much I got paid every Sunday? Take a guess.
$5.
$10. $10.
Didn't even
Until
cover. Didn't even cover the
until
gas.
it did until 2 years. I did it 2 years straight. The first Sunday I went back in my third year, Tony Falk handed me $100 bill. And back then, $100 was good. You know, it was great. And he said, "I think you paid your dues," and that meant a lot. You know, that was there. Then I guess they closed Paducah down, and then I just didn't do anything for. Oh my goodness, probably when did Power Pro start back? They
Ooh,
started when Tony would come. Yeah,
2001 maybe?
something
No,
like that. Tony.
98, 99,
I,
somewhere in there.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember. I'm not good with dates. I couldn't tell you nothing. But Tony would come to my house and stay on Friday night so he could be at TV on Saturday. And I lived in Memphis, and so he would come. So there was a show up here, in it's called Garland, Tennessee. Yeah, there was a guy, Dennis Mason, who ran Paducah, Kentucky, with Tony. Called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to work this show in Garland. It's close to Memphis. Why don't you come manage me there?" I was like, "Man, I don't know, you know." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." Well, I show up, but he don't show up.
So you,
I call him,
so you was a manager without a talent.
so I get there. So guess who's the first person I meet when I get there?
That
Midnight Rider.
Midnight Rider. So that is how
He
you
was
met
there.
him.
That's how I met Midnight Rider.
Now,
So
for
they
the
wanted
people
me.
who don't know, tell them who Midnight Rider is.
His name's Aaron. He's a good guy. He does a lot of announcing around Memphis and stuff, and he's a manager down in MIW on Fridays. He's a good guy. But sometimes he's a little, you know, he he forgets where he's supposed to be. He wants,
Especially when driving, right?
yeah, we drive.
All
I
right.
hate driving that guy.
Speaking of Midnight Rider at MIW, what exactly is MIW? And tell the people what goes on there.
MIW is in Middleton, Tennessee, every Friday night. It's run by Grady Watson. Uh, it's you'll see guys there like Brody Hawk, AC Styles, Kid Wrestling's there. Kid Wrestling. Who else? Get me line. El Loco the Clown.
Just in
Uh,
case.
yeah, Justin Case is there. He's there. Who else? There's just a bunch of them. You can look at MIW Wrestling on Facebook, and Christy Harville does all that stuff, and she'll take it. It's all up there on
I
there.
got a good Middleton, Tennessee story for you. Okay, so we used to
Oh,
wrestle at Dyersburg early '90s WOWF. There was a kid that wrestled for us. He lived in Middleton, Tennessee. So we're gonna do a show there at the old school building, and we got the chief of police involved because he knew the chief of police. So
right.
back then we used to carry these old tin lids around, and me and Ed, my former partner, one and a half of the Missouri Bad Boys, were the tag team champs, and Renegade Force was the heavyweight champ. So Force was going to defend his belt against that kid, and then they had a tag team from around that area that we was going to face as well. But anyway, in the opening
Right.
show, we go out there and we start mouthing off, and the chief of police comes out there and interrupts us. He says, "This is his town. We're not going to do this and that." And Forrest took that lid and hit that chief of police and knocked the shit out of him. And
Was he
man,
a bald headed guy?
yeah, that place come
He's still there.
unglued. That place come unglued, son. He was ready to kill the bad boys, man.
I think he's still there. He comes every Friday night.
Yeah,
He's there. He's working, but he comes by to see us every Friday night.
gotcha. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
that's great
it may
times,
be the
man.
same guy. Yeah, Middleton's it's fun there. It's fun in
Yeah,
Middleton. It draws about 100 people every week, which is not great, but for a little town like that building won't hold much more.
do they? So they're in a building. They're not in that old school where we wrestled at.
No, he's got his own building. It's
Cool.
it's not very big, but like I said, they hold about 100 people, maybe a little
As
more.
as Grady
So
from there.
Grady is from that area. I don't think he's
Gotcha.
from Middleton. I think he's from like over in Raymer or somewhere like that, close to there.
Raymer, Tennessee.
Yep, Raymer, Tennessee. Yep. Yeah, I
There
think
was an organization there on Friday nights,
he
wasn't there?
was he owned part of that, but then they
Did he?
separated, and he went to
Gotcha.
Middleton, and they stayed up there in Raymer, and that show just closed up. They tried to do too much with no money.
Yeah.
He-
So, what is your, I guess, your favorite promotion that you ever worked for?
uh, well, it has to be USWA, but for a reason. Oh, I love American Hostile, no doubt. I love I love the Missouri trip, no doubt. I have more fun there than I do just about anywhere. It's fun. Uh, but it has to be USWA because I did that, and that's just something that I always wanted to do. It has to be.
That's
But
right.
yeah, it has to be that, no doubt.
Who's your best promoter you ever worked for?
Uh, it's that hard answer. Look,
Who pays the best?
there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
All
I
right,
will
tell
have to
people.
say,
Go ahead.
go ahead. I will
Go ahead.
say, I will say, Dustin has treated me, I mean, unbelievably fair. Uh, this run there is like Memphis wrestling is crazy. All the we're getting the back feed on what we're doing is crazy. Everybody wants to hear what we got to say. Why, and and it's just ain't been the right time to do a promo. To say why.
That's
I
right.
think it'll come.
Speaking of Dustin, he's talking about Dustin Starr, who is the owner of the new Memphis Wrestling. Memphis Wrestling, of course, you can find on YouTube and Channel 30 locally, correct, Justin?
That's it. Channel 30. Yep.
And I believe it's also syndicated on Channel 7 in Jackson, Tennessee. Of course, I was recently a part of that,
You was.
and you came in, and I got to live my dream, did the TV spots, man. It's great.
That's
I tell you,
it's
it's one
earned.
of the best feelings in the world. And I'm pretty sure you're probably high on that too
Oh,
right now.
I am. Like I said, Dustin has gave me the opportunity, to hey, do what you want to do. Do what you think is right. Y'all do what y'all think is right. And if I don't like it, we say, hey, what do you think? He pretty much is gave it to us and let us go with it. So
Yeah, that's one thing
that's
about Memphis Wrestling. It is a TV show, but you're not handed a script when you get there.
that's right. It's not. And they're not. And you got one take on a promo. They're not giving you
That's
the run.
right. That's right.
You look bad. You look bad. You look bad.
That's it, man. He can edit it out, but I'll tell you what, oh.
Yep.
But so what else is going on, man? You're gonna be where you at this weekend?
This weekend I'll be in MIW Friday. Saturday I will be in Dyersburg, Tennessee, to make sure that Jack Parker does not leave there your champion.
Yeah, big card coming up December the 3rd. We lost Justin just for a minute. I'm sure he'll be back. But anyway, December the 3rd, Legacy Pro and American Hostiles teaming up
Well,
for a super card in Dyersburg, Tennessee. We have man, that is just an awesome card.
back. It is.
Yes, we got a lot of talent. Main event's going to be JPJ versus Aaron Roberts, your guy. And I think Aaron Roberts also has a big match Sunday where his hair is at stake. Is that correct?
Sunday it is him versus Zay Washington.
You're
Uh,
right. Zay, but I
so
believe Zay's going to be at the show Saturday night, so
he
you
will.
never know what's going to happen. Also,
They
we
may
got
not make
90.
it.
That's right. Naughty by Nature Rude will be there Saturday as well, defend his Mid America title against Denzel Rollins. That's going to be a
Oh, that'll be
super
good.
match. We got like a 8-man tag match for the Hostile Championship tag belts with the Moonshiners, your former team, who you stabbed in the back. I wonder if Jason Vaughn and Chris Hayes have got that knife out of their back yet. Taking on the
Well, hey,
Dog Pound, the Hustlers, and who else? Oh, the Hooligans, the new tag
Hooligan
team of Addison Kane and Terry Wayne.
Wayne.
And they might just have a new manager in the wings. So
Oh
you never
Lord,
know. It
is
could
Buddy
be
Hart coming?
it could be something involving some money. I don't know. But
Ah.
we shall see.
Well, I got the Hustlers on this one. I believe they'll
You
leave.
got the Hustlers in that one?
Yeah, I think they'll leave. I think they'll be
Man.
champions. So
Well, make sure you leave your chain at home.
everywhere I go,
Everywhere you go. He's like Visa. Huh? It's like the Visa card. Don't leave home without it.
without
Was that
don't leave home without it. In case I got one in each door in case I forget one at home.
Hey, also December the 10th, you can catch Justin Case over in Campbell, Missouri as Hostile. The American Hostile Championship Wrestling makes its return to Campbell, Missouri. And we got a few newcomers on the card there, so that should be a big show as well. Anything else you want to add, Justin?
Just
Got
go
any more
watch
good
wrestling.
stories?
Just go watch wrestling. That's it.
That's right. Catch
Somewhere, go watch wrestling.
catch Hostile Wrestling on a YouTube channel. You can catch Memphis Wrestling on YouTube and CW30 in Memphis. You can catch Justin Case there. You can catch him in Middleton, Tennessee Friday night, Dyersburg, Tennessee Saturday, and
And
Memphis, Tennessee Sunday. You got a busy weekend, my man.
busy. Don't forget Campbell next weekend.
That's right. Next weekend, December 10th, Campbell, Missouri.
We'll be there.
All right, Justin, I appreciate you joining us for the first ever
All right.
Hostile Hour. Been great catching up with you. I'll make sure I'll see you Saturday, and I'll bring a can of slap ass.
Yeah, bring it. I got a change.
All right,
See
man. I
ya.
appreciate
All
you.
right,
Have a good day, man. All right.
man.